very much for introducing me. It's such a pleasure to be part of this FDP as a resource person, and I think the in every rectangle box, those who are sitting there are colleague, and we are mostly having a similar kind of knowledge. So I personally feel that FDP is something which just connecting the dot, not sharing information, because information is there online and you all are equally knowledgeable, and might be some of the participants are more knowledgeable than me, so I might consider myself privileged to have this opportunity. So dear participants, because I don't know any of your name, I can see the name, but taking the name of all of you will take more time. So I I start with a slightly different approach before I share my PPT or I talk about. I'm just opening my screen. There is a software called Mentimeter, mentimeter.com, and if you do it from your mobile, right? There is a code called 17453692. Is my screen visible to everyone?
No, ma'am. The screen is not shared.
Screen is not shared. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay, just a minute. Just give me a minute. Sorry, I forgot to share my screen. Okay, so I am sharing my screen. Mhm. Yeah. I shared my screen. Now, please let me know. Please let me know if my Mentimeter screen is visible. Is it visible to all of
Yes,
you?
ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. So there is a small app called if you just type menti.com, it will open and you can use this code 17453692. I request the moderator of the session, if you can put it in the chat box also, menti.com. And the code is 17453692. Now, I request all of you to enter a few of the keywords. What is your expectation from this FDP session? And I also would like to thank my previous presenter, I think Dr. Pranav, if I'm not wrong, and what a brilliant presentation. I really enjoyed. Last 15 minutes I'm here. So can I request all our participants just enter your one or two keywords, that what is your expectation from this FDP? Okay, I'm back to the screen. All of you can see each other response if you start entering. Oh yeah, very good. Very good. Explore possibilities for learned research methods, learn critical research. Very good. Great. Oh, it's the end of the day. I'm sure all of you are like, having cup of tea or coffee, right? So yeah, great. I can take a few seconds more. We have 60 responses. Oh, wow. Great. Okay, so I can see 32 participant responded, and thank you for all of you. Number is increasing. It is 35, right? And I can see one word is very big in nature. That is knowledge, right? And I think we all academicians are looking for knowledge. So we can keep on putting the thing. I have few more questions, which I'll come back to all of you again. Okay. That's so interesting. Okay. So we have first slide, and I think I am very happy that we got 38 responded. But I am just going to the next slide. Before this is the slide. After that, I'll start my yeah. I will start my presentation. Can all of you see my next slide, which is what is digital media research? We all are working, right? We all know what is digital media research. So I just want you to know that how do you understand digital media research? The code is 17453692. Is my screen visible? Yes. Fine. Perfectly all right. Great. Mhm. Okay, still now we have two responses. We can wait few more seconds, not minute, to get more response. Investigate and interactive. Okay, great. Video data analysis, innovative. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so great to know. So what this slide says that we all know what is digital media research, but we probably need more discussion on digital media research. Social media is coming up a big word. Hmm. Okay, so I think I'm very happy. I'm very happy the way participants are responding. But now I'm going to my presentation. I'll come back to this point because this point will give me a cue about what is the expectation and what exactly all of you understand the digital media research. Each of us understand the digital media research in a very different way because the way we do research, we understand it, right? So okay, great. 36 answer, but social media and research on digital media is still the is coming in a maximum percentage, right? Okay. So I'm just turning on my presentation, and I will come back to those slides. I have few more in Mentimeter slide, but yes. Uh, okay, I can stop presentation, and I'm going to my presentation, right? Which is okay. Share. Mhm. Is my screen visible? My presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I think I will start with a very small journey of my journey as a researcher, as an academician, and I started with digital media research. My PhD is on core digital media, where I was actually trying to. So I'm a designer and the communication aspect. I was trying to understand the role of these emoticons in communication and how it change not only convey the emotion but how you change the perception of communication. But moving forward after my PhD, I realized that the power of storytelling and the power of design thinking. So now I think I am clubbing together, and I can see that digital media is a platform which give all of us uh, opportunity to collaborate, right? Like you can, if you are a great storyteller or you like storytelling or you want to understand that how digital media is telling story, then you can pick it up and you can we all can, somebody can start working. So I So from my first two slide on Mentimeter, uh, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to connect. I understand that what is the expectation. The major expectation is knowledge, and I will try to justify as much as I can. And the next point is, I understand the majority of the participants are working on the interactive digital media, social media. So since the last 15 minutes, I got the opportunity to attend the presentation of my fellow speaker. So I'm not going to repeat the thing. And so if you find something repetitive, please let me know, right? These are the points which I was thinking I'm going to cover, but it's not a monologue. We have more slides on Mentimeter where I can get more information from all of you. So what is digital media research? This is first point. Then describe the nature of the digital media. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Hello, ma'am. I'm very
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, ma'am, but yeah, the screen is it's not visible now.
Is it visible now?
No, ma'am.
Uh, no problem. I can stop sharing and I can share the screen again. Right. So I can share. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am. The screen is visible now.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. So I use Teams very less actually. So I'm not able to, like, when I'm presenting, I'm not able to see the rectangular boxes of all participants that give me energy, but it's fine. Like I can only see my PPT, but it's okay. So I will talk about a list of creative methodologies in digital media research, the significance challenges, which already discussed, but probably few points. I just want to elaborate from my experience that how we understood those points. A few case studies, which is more like a exercise, and I'm trying to complete my presentation till 6:30. So, and the list of resources, I try to club as much resources as I can. It
Ma'am,
includes
I'm sorry. Sorry, the PPT is not visible. The screen is visible, but the PPT is not visible.
PPT is not visible. What to do?
You can share the presentation. We can also share screen.
Oh, that's a good. I can always share the
Yeah, you
presentation.
can just share with us. We will present.
Okay. Uh, and so, right. Okay, I'm just trying to. Okay, I can continue with that without the presentation till the time presentation is coming. Is it fine with all the participants?
Sure.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Please go ahead.
So by the time the presentation is starting, we can. It's very like very silent environment, like silent digital environment. So I'm just start talking, and by the time I'm expecting, because I'm not able to share my entire screen, so it's fine. Like, so when we talk about the digital media, I think we already got the answer. So I can probably what I can do, I can share the window, and we can talk about, right? So I think the worst, yes, my slide is getting shared. Oh, that seems so interesting. Yeah. Okay, so when we talk about the digital media research, I think it's very difficult to define the digital media research. If you see, we can, any media you talk about it, digital media is involved over there. You talk about healthcare, you talk about well-being, you talk about education, we talk about anything, user experience, design, law, businesses, right? So I think what is more the beauty of the digital media research, what I was actually talking about, and I got the right answer from the participants also, that the we cannot, put a boundary around the digital media research. I think anyone who is doing the research somehow or other way, they are associated with the digital media, right? Like medtech now, a lot of medtech now. Every medtech research is not health research, right? There are a lot of people talking about how technology has impacted the medical domain, and we can. I'm very confident that we can easily say that these are the digital media, part of the digital media research. So if we start putting the keywords the way we did it in Mentimeter, and if we start putting the keywords, so the one of the most prominent keyword is social media, because what happened, we all understand somehow the digital media research around the social media. Even my PhD is also on social media, right? But if we think, it has a lot of connection, right? And it also give you a very interdisciplinary possibilities. Like, you can probably, any of you participant, you can collaborate with any of the professor or any of the colleague from other school, probably school of engineering, school of technology, school of business, and we can do our digital media research. So I request I don't know, I request Julia, if you can please go to the next
Yes,
slide.
yes. Change.
And I'm really sorry to bothering you, but I don't know why my
Sure, sure. No,
window
no
is
worries.
misbehaving. Go to the next slide. So I'm not just going to read, but these are the major point. What this is the third slide. Okay, then next. This is what is, yes, what is digital media research? What is digital media? You can go. Uh, uh, okay, fine. We can stay sometime here, right? So when I talk about what is digital media research, so I'm sure all these point is already discussed, like content creation, production, media consumption, social media studies, digital advertising and marketing, media effect and influences. This is, I refer to few of the books, including I did Chat GPT to understand that what Chat GPT current version is saying. And if you see, very interestingly, that I'm why I'm telling, starting from this point, here also you can see the biases, right? You can see digital media technologies, policy and regulation, cultural and global perspective. But as I told, that digital media also include the the aspect of healthcare, right? How the healthcare aspect is evolving on the digital media. So all these things are somehow missing when we talk about the digital media research. So I strongly believe that we need to define the digital media research in a very, very different way, and it is constantly evolving. The definition which is written about the digital media on all the books which might be written 5 years back, um, that definition is not appropriate, right? So I put all the information, but I thought, just to talk about. And I think one of the most important area which we can include in any of our study is cultural and global perspective. Like when we talk about cross cultural use, activism, I'm not using, because I know our previous speaker already talked about activism and all these points. But I think what is more important, and where you will find very less research has been done, is cultural and global perspective. So we understand cultural studies in very humanities point of view, but I think when you talk about the cultural studies, so we did a very interesting study a long time back, which we were trying to understand the profile picture of Facebook users, like from the, yes. So when we talk about the like, I just try to discuss this point, that when we talk about what is the nature of digital media research, right? So the first point which I really want to focus on, interdisciplinary nature of the digital media. You can invite any domain people, and they can actually contribute to the digital media research. Communication studies, media studies, computer science, sociology, psychology, information technologies. So the list is very long, right? We can keep on adding, right? But what I'm trying to say, that I think this is one of the very powerful or you can say beauty of the digital media research, where it is very, very interdisciplinary in nature and it allows a lot of collaboration actually. Then, of course, like, one of the area is rapid technological changes. I can give you my PhD research example, because which I am very comfortable, but anyone can share their experience by raising their hand, because I want it should be more interactive. That 3 years back, when we have done a research, or 4 years or 5 years back, we done a research considering a particular technology, and suddenly now at this moment, with the AI era or with the chat GPT era, we suddenly realize that this particular technology doesn't make any relevance. So when we select the either PhD topic or a thesis or a research topic, one thing which we all consider, that the topic, the relevance of the topic after 2 years or 3 years, right? That how the topic evolved and how my research is able to contribute to the other research, and that thing is somehow are challenging. That is the nature of the digital media research, that technology is changing very, very rapidly. Also, another approach of digital media research, which is very interesting nature, is it's a user centric, right? We focus a lot of user centric approach, like user generated content, what already discussed, but a lot of user centric approach. I'm not only talking about content, but I'm talking about user centric approach, keeping the user at the center of the circle and think about the research problem. Um, then the next, of course, the next point is global perspective. It has a lot of global perspective. We can do a lot of cross-cultural project based on the digital media research, and it really allow you to find out a problem in other country, and you suddenly realize the same problem it also exists in India. It of course data driven, but I believe that it also give us, like many of us are also do mixed method. We have qualitative method, we have quantitative method. So I think even it is a data driven, but there is a possibility of incorporate the qualitative method. So cultural impact, policy obviously discussed, and industry collaboration is also discussed in the previous method, right? So before I move to the next slide, or I talk about some other point, I just wanted to know that if any of you want to share something related to the rapid technological changes, and what do you think that it definitely create an opportunity for us, but what do you think that it also create a challenge for us, or how this the very senior professors, like you can say those who are now evolving with the technology, now learning the technology, how they are going to keep up pace with the rapid changing technology when they are doing the digital media research. So I'm moving forward, but if any of you would like to say something, you can raise your hand, and I would love to listen from any of you. Okay. Okay, no problem. We can move forward. Ma'am, can you go to the next slide? Right. Now, here I think I'm very much interested to talk about in this particular area. Now we don't have so much of time to read each and every slide, but what I would like to say that digital media research will give you lot of possibility to introduce the creative methodologies, kind of methodology we never thought about it, like lot of visual analysis we are doing, but we need to also understand the impact of visual research, how designers use the research, how policymaker understand the visual, right? So UI UX is also now people are using UI UX as a part of the methodology. People are also using, researchers are also using design thinking methodology as a part of the digital media research, when specifically they are dealing with the people, they are dealing with the digital communities, they are dealing with the societal issues on the context of digital media. That time they are very, very trying to come up with a very creative methodology. Here I want to see that I think in India we are more focused on very traditional structured methodology, but I think it's a time when we can more think about practice-based research, or we can think about how we can borrow methodology, because since it's an interdisciplinary method or interdisciplinary media, how we can borrow methodology from psychology, how we can borrow methodology from computer science, technology, or social science domain. And if we are able to successfully do it, which is difficult, I understand, which is very difficult, we all are struggling, but if we are able to do it, then we can say that it will create lot of value to our research actually. Right, ma'am, can you go to the next slide? Right, we can move forward actually. uh, okay. Okay, right. So I think opportunities and challenges was discussed with the previous speaker, but what the printout is also in front of me. I just wanted to tell few things which I feel very important to discuss here. That is, one is the biases, right? The AI biases. I can say the AI biases because many of us are using the AI tools. So I want to give an example of a current project. What I'm doing is it's a system level project where we are trying to understand the gender biases, through AI, like how the AI tools are using the gender biases, and we did a very thorough research. It's an ongoing project. So, and what we understood that when we are feeding the data to AI softwares, right, and we are saying, let's say we are saying engineer, right, so what happened, all engineers, the pictures, or even the now we all know that all corporates now using the different AI platform to filter the resume and based on the keywords, and a lot of selection, a certain percentage of selection process is based on the entirely the AI tools and techniques. So what happened when you write the word engineer, you suddenly realize that there is only the male candidates are coming to your screen, right? But when you write nurse or caregivers, then what happened? You suddenly find all female candidates are coming on your place. Or the picture, if you write the picture of an engineer, right? So how the engineer look like? It's a picture of a man, right? So what I'm trying to say that this point was already discussed, but I just want to share my personal project, what we are doing in an institution level, which is system level project, where we're trying to understand that how the entire digital media research and AI tools are creating the gender biases, right? It creating cultural biases, it creating lot of stigma, it promoting lot of stigma because people, those who are feeding the data, um, uh, they carry those biases through the data, and those biases are carried forward. So I must request any of you, please work on this zone, because this is a very very difficult area, and I think this is an area which create a major challenge in the society. Because one side we all are working on reducing the biases, but on the other side, the entire research and AI tools are creating biases or making the biases very powerful, right? So you have a lot of opportunities in digital media research, which is cultural representation. I'll share my handouts also with the organizers. So please feel free to share my handouts, my PPT to all the participants. If it is help them in even one person, I will be more than happy.
Sure.
So, ma'am, can you please go to the next slide? Yeah. Can you go to the next slide? Right. Okay. So this is an area where I come up with few of the case studies, and lot I thought we can do a small exercise again. What we just started doing it, but what I would like to tell that, ma'am, if you can go to the last slide and go upward direction. I just want to share that. Yeah, this one. Yeah, second last slide. Right. Uh, Upward. This is not. Yeah, go one step up. Right. So I have included almost like 6 to 7 slides, which give all of you a little bit of resource. I'm sure many of you have those data in bits and pieces. But what I did, like you can check certain websites, certain organization, those who are very strongly working on digital media research globally, and I'm sure the this will somehow help in a resource management, because I think what happened with us also, that many of us try to get the information, and we spend quite a good time on finding out the resources. So I think this few slides I have put it as a resources. But ma'am, if you can go to the exercise 1 slide. Right. Right. Okay. So you can stop sharing your screen, ma'am. You can stop sharing your screen. You just stop sharing your screen. Right. So before I move to the next exercise, I just want to say that uh, we discussed about what is digital media research, and I got the answer from all of you. So I'm sure all of you have a very clear idea about what is digital media research, because we all are working in the as an educator. But then we moved to the nature of the digital media research, where I was actually wanted to tell the interdisciplinary nature of the digital media research. And digital media research will give you a immense opportunity to collaborate with different domain, and also cross-cultural collaboration. It has a lot of global collaboration possibilities. There are several organizations, centers across the world, those who are not only working on the digital media research, but a lot of fellowship also available. So I think that's the area what we were discussed. We also discussed about challenges and opportunities. One of the challenges what I have discussed about the AI biases, but there are challenges which I have written. I also share my handouts. Probably it will help all of you. I also discussed try to understand the opportunities of digital media research and the methodology part. I've been a creative person, and I've been constantly evolving in the creative space. I always suggest that we should play with the methodology, what we normally not supposed to do in the in Indian context. Like we are very structured, but we are structured because our supervisor are structured, our co-supervisor are structured. So we are very structured in terms of methodology. But I think it's a time now when we can include a lot of creative methodology to increase the value. I just want to see one thing of my personal experience. During the COVID, I worked with Dr. Izaz Ahmed, who is the Dean of Columbia University, USA. We together wrote a paper and published a paper on the. We try to understand that how the midday meal concept, it disrupted during the COVID in US and India, and what are the strategy, both government took to support the children in the school. So once we did the paper, it took almost like 5 months or 6 months to write the paper, and then we published it. Then Dr. Ahmed asked me a question. He asked that, Dr. Saxena, it's a very important paper what we have published, but how many people are going to read this paper? I don't want only academicians read this paper. And we all know, and there's no harm of accept that academic papers are slightly boring in nature, and people don't feel interested to read the paper until and unless this is their core area. So what he suggested, and what I'm just sharing with all of you as a colleague, and probably you can consider my suggestion, he told that let us write a small, 100 words article based on the 7,000 word paper and published in a popular media. So that we wrote it. I actually wrote it, right? And then we published that particular article on the challenges of midday meal in US and India. In what we did in Leaflet. So there is a company called, there is a portal called Leaflet, which is a legal portal which is run by the editor, the own founder of that portal is a very renowned lawyer from Supreme Court, and we published over there, and we suddenly realized that, on my, so I can say I'm a social media person. A lot of people reached out to me on LinkedIn and say, hey, this is very interesting article, have you done a thorough research? And we say, yes, we have done a thorough research, and if you are interested, we are ready to share the content with you, right? So I think in a digital media research also, what we failure to do is we do fantastic research. We publish in a top journal, Q1 journal, Q2 journal, but we forgot to disseminate the information on popular media. So probably you can make a small video, or you can write an article on LinkedIn or anywhere. And it's my humble suggestion that please disseminate the information of your important research, because you don't know that someone sitting in the corner of the world probably doing the same kind of research, and they are not available on ResearchGate or Orchid or Google Scholar. So they are all are available on popular media, because my previous speaker and I also told that there is a point we mentioned that industry oriented research, we collaborate with industry when we talk about the digital media research, right? So that is one area we, so then I also put the resources in my PPT, which I really wanted to just share whatever I have, and I'm sure the organizer will share the PPT, and all resources are there. So I'm just going through sharing a screen again, and we might have one quick exercise, and then we can close. And I'm open with Q&A, and also you can, any of you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm as I told that I'm very proactive online, so it's yeah. So I'm just sharing my screen again, and I just want to know whether my screen is visible. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Impact of social media on political discourse, right? So it is again Mentimeter. I use a lot of menti.com, and so you have the code over there, 61640474. 61640474. Right? Okay, now what you are expected to do, right? So what I did actually, I want, if you can write the objective, like when we see impact of social media on political discourse, each of us present here understand it in a different way, right? So probably one or two, you know a line, one line only, probably a 4 to 5 words, that what is the objective, or you can write the methodology, right? You can write either methodology or the objective, that if you are doing the similar kind of research on a similar topic but on a different angle, your angle will be different, my angle will be different, right? But when you talk about impact of social media on political discourse, right, what do you think, that what is the right methodology? Let's do the methodology, but it's short actually. What do you think, that what is the right methodology to do this kind of research? Okay. Great. Great. Okay, I'm waiting few more seconds before I move to the next question, because I think I also don't want to cross the time. Yeah. Sentiment analysis, content analysis, perception, polarization, change in policy making. Very good. Anybody else? Okay, very good. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have two variation of content analysis, trend analysis. Yes, right. So we have 9 responses, and I'm sure I will get few more responses. But here, what does it mean? This slide tells us a story. And what it tells us a story that we have several ways. For me, methodologies are the way I want to reach to. Let's say I belong to Delhi, right? I want to reach to India Gate, right? So I have multiple way to reach to India Gate, but the ultimate goal is, reaching to India Gate. So I have multiple ways. Similarly, our methodologies are the way to reach to the goal, right? That how you want to do the research, how we want to get the information, but it can be done in different way. So right now we have 10 responses, and 10 responses are saying different thing. However, if you ask me that how I will do it, I'll do it content analysis. Why so? It's not that content analysis is the only way to do it, but it might be I am very comfortable in doing analysis, but I'm very happy that discourse analysis is also coming this way, right? So keeping the time in mind, I think you can keep on putting the information. I'll get the information, I put it in the PPT, and I share the revised version of the PPT. But I'm going to the next slide, which is my last question. Again, I'm asking that, we many of us working in user experience in e-learning platform, right? And now all of us know that e-learning is, it's a future word. It is going to be take a very big shape, and many of us, and also, like, there is a lot of disruption, like, how Baiju's story, all of us know, right? So this disruption, one side it is a disruption, another side is lot of startups is coming up, right? Big fishes are there. So if you do a research on, you might have your different problem, each of us have different problem statement, but if you do a research on user experience in e-learning platform, what methodology will you take? So, yeah, narrative analysis. Very good. Right. Okay, I can request others also start entering your. So you see, how do we define the methodology? We probably define the methodology when we understand what is my problem statement. Many time, traditional researcher always think when we talk about social media, there is a particular few set of methods available. But what I feel that, it's absolutely depend on your problem statement, right? What problem statement you are addressing, and based on your problem statement, you can come up with your methodology, right? So if you ask me to do this research, I would probably do the user survey, I probably do the interview, and I also do the analytics data analysis on e-learning proper focus group. Very good, very good. Yes. And I don't have a time to have a discussion, but might be, I would love to know more about the who has written focus group, is how you want to do the focus group, how you want to address your, participant website analysis. Yes, that's a very interesting idea. That's a very, very interesting idea. Content analysis. It is something like, it's like old monk, right? Like, everywhere when you understand visual analysis. Yes, we did a visual analysis, feedback survey, narrative analysis. Very good, very good. Can I wait for 2 more seconds if I get few more understanding? So I went back to the previous slide. We have 16. Yes, the previous slide, we got the in-depth interview also. We have framing. Okay, critical discourse. Very good. Right. Okay. Oh, very good. Design analysis. Oh, I'm so happy to see user behavior, focus group, data on the platform, in-depth interview. Very good, very good. I'm just closing my thing, but my Mentimeter window is not closed. So I think I will open my Mentimeter window for a few time, because I really want to see that how things are coming, and I will share with all of you that, what are the ideas coming, because what I believe that these FDPs are, we have at Voxen we have a Center for Learning Design, where we organize a lot of top level FDPs by calling international people. But what I believe, these FDPs are connecting the dots. So as a speaker or as a resource person, I think I also have to learn. I learn FDP from all the answers coming from the participants, right? Thank you. And I'm absolutely open to address the question. And I'm putting my LinkedIn ID in the chat box. Please reach out to me. I will be more than happy to have a chat, have an online discussion. Yeah. So I think if there is any question, I'm really happy to address. Otherwise, we can say bye, have a good coffee, and yeah, question like, is it there in the chat box?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. There is.
In the chat box, could you please shed light? How have the no? This is user generated content on digital media. No, this is a previous question. Uh,
The question is for both Pranav sir and
Sorry.
Aditi ma'am.
Oh, great, great. Okay. Some model problem statement as sample, and okay, right. So what I can do, like as in my PPT, I put almost 10 problem statement, right? And they are correlated to the core digital media research, right? So I think what I can see that this PPT might give you an idea about the problem statement, but what is also important is follow the popular media, because lot of problem statement which is coming to our research is coming from the popular media. And somehow we, like, I'm very much favor of follow the popular media also, because that is might be one of the way to get the problem statement. Of course, we definitely have to do the very conventional literature review, citation. This is a part of the academic research. But yeah, so I can say my answer is that be creative, right? Try to understand as many creative methodology, borrow methodology from the other domains. As you are a digital media researcher, it is very important to borrow the methodology from the other domains. You can borrow psychology or other domains, and club it and make your own model. I think that is very important, that if we researcher can create our own model, and we can give that model, give it back to our community. Yeah, I don't know whether I will be able to address it, but yeah, probably I'm not sure about it.
Uh, I can try answering, I think, the questions also.
Definitely,
So
definitely.
Harini asked if we could take us through the methodologies by picking some model problem statements as examples. So uh, I don't know if I should screen share again, but some of the mm, for example, I think one model problem statement could be the net neutrality campaign in India that I mentioned in the penultimate slide just before the presentation ended. This, I think, would make for a great case study on how digital media generally can be used to uh, create collectivization among different stakeholder groups. So, if for people, for anyone not familiar with it, there was a um, product or a service being launched by Meta, then Facebook, which um, strictly legally speaking was not complying with net neutrality principles. And what happened was a number of different organizations which were invested in the net neutrality argument, preservation of net neutrality, they created a large scale campaign across different social media platforms, across emails, across like a lot of different even traditional media, to try to get people to understand, create like some amount of digital literacy on the issue of net neutrality, and to educate them on how they could speak to their or like communicate to their elected representatives, so that the message would eventually reach the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, and try to push against this service that was in talks to be introduced in India. And eventually, the plan worked, and that service, which is introduced in a number of other countries in the global south is not introduced in India, and that would have given Facebook, I mean, speculation is that it would have given Facebook a lot more control over the internet market share in the country. So that is one, I think, case study that could work. Another one could be the ethnographic research methodology used on, I think, different kinds of protest movements that have happened in both in India and outside. So things like the Black Lives Matter movement, other protests we've had in India, and even the present day Palestine protests. I think that might take a little longer for the true ethnographic study to be conducted. But I think studying digital communities and like online subcultures where these conversations happen, and how digital media is used by different groups to get an understanding of the participants' environments and their culture. I think that is a great. I mean, that would be a good model study. So those are two examples, Harini, that I can think of. Uh, on user generated content on digital media and new revenue generation patterns. So I can, I think, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm understanding Ansa's question properly. I think you're asking if, asking how user generated content, so things like reels and independent streamers on digital media, and how that has impacted the media scenario from the terms of generation of revenue by bigger media groups versus independent content creators. And it's a mostly straightforward answer. The revenue uh, generated is going to content creators more. I mean, a part of the revenue that for the entertainment industry that was previously enjoyed by larger studios and uh, celebrities who take part in TV and big movies, a fraction of that, not, I mean, it isn't like enough to destabilize the industry, but a significant fraction of that has gone to other service providers. So it isn't like content creators have entered the picture and are the primary benefactors, but there are a lot of content creators who uh, create content on sites like YouTube and Twitch, and a lot. And this fraction that has moved from the traditional industry to the content creator industry has mostly concentrated around the intermediary companies, which are like Twitch, which I think is now, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it's owned by Amazon, but and YouTube, which of course is owned by Google. So uh, and the content creators end up also getting a share of the revenue. But what has happened is not a true decentralization of content and revenue, where it's not a situation where anybody who makes content can now have like a decent portion of the pie that exists in the entertainment industry in terms of the revenue. But what is actually happening is intermediaries that create platforms where independent content creators can publish their content. Those intermediaries end up either already being controlled by big tech like Google and Meta and Amazon, or they are quickly bought up by big tech companies. So Instagram is something similar happened. Twitch was also acquired. So that is a trend that is seen presently, or at least it's a trend I am seeing in the media scenario. So I hope this answers your question, but your question itself is a good larger term research project to see how user generated content and content creators have, if they have caused any destabilization of the entertainment industry's revenue patterns and how that has happened.
Next question is from Rohini Kumar. With the diverse formats and platforms available in digital media, how can we ensure the research methods to be inclusive and representative of this vast online landscape?
Dr. Pranav, would you like to address the question?
Sure, sure thing, doctor. I think this is something both of us
Yeah,
both of
and
us should.
I love the next question, the AI tools, the chat GPT question, which is like, yeah.
Yeah. So with respect to inclusiveness and diversity, I think mm, it's a little difficult for people to conclusively say these are the exact diversity practices or these are the practices that will maximize inclusivity. I think it's important, like when you're generating a research methodology, to look at the goals in very clear ways and see uh, if one of your goals is to truly get a diverse picture, then you're, let's say you're conducting focus groups or you're conducting surveys, then you will have to make the extra effort to find out what inclusiveness in that specific area means and reach out to that group of people and collect inputs from them. And so it's a little difficult to say this is how you can ensure it in this specific research method, because the subject matter, for example, if you're looking at some kind of subject matter that is connected, that is tied to access to the internet, then the kind of inclusiveness you're looking at will be different from, say, if you are trying to study how English language content creators have destabilized the revenue markets in the entertainment industry. So in both of these cases, like the kind of groups you will be seeking inputs from will be very different if you are promoting inclusiveness. So I think uh, some amount of like holistic inclusiveness training is also useful in this regard. And but generally looking at it from the perspective of goals, from a very clear perspective, being like these are the um, this is what I hope to accomplish with this research, and this is the kind of input I would like. So who should I reach out to? I think that approach on every research project will help. Um, but if there are specific research projects that you would like to discuss, Rohini, then I'm happy to give my inputs on those and see if there is any insight that I have.
Okay, so moving
I think
moving forward, we
yeah,
have a question
please.
from William Marcel. How safely we can use ChatGPT or any other AI tools to edit our research article? Will it hamper our copyright?
Okay. Uh, I probably would love to address this question, but before we jump to this question, just 1 second based on the previous question. I think what Dr. Pranav told is very right. Like, it's more like, we should focus on our problem statement, that what exactly our problem statement, what exactly our research, and then it is very easy to play with the methodology. And it might sound very blunt, but I'm telling you that inclusiveness in methodology might be not possible every time, because and it's not required also, it's not required actually. So I think because like execution point of view also, like I think we can think about something which is very aligned with our research problem. um, I just want to see next point. Like, I'm not going to, because I'm sorry, I have another meeting. Actually, I just have to leave. So, next point, I just want to see something about my point of view. I use ChatGPT a lot to generate ideas. I think ChatGPT is not to generate content. It might be generate idea. Like lot of time we want to work on a particular proposal, we want to work on a particular research ideas. And earlier what we used to do, we used to read a lot, then come up with some idea. Now also we read, But I think the first step, like, if we use the chat gpt, it might give us a very clear idea of multiple version of your ideation. So I understand chat gpt from the ideation point of view, but I think many of us know that now there are many papers which was constantly produced by the chat gpt, and it is written by the chat gpt, like, produced by the chat gpt. So those stories are also there, but it's a very bigger discussion. And I think as a researcher, we still do not have any clear cut policy guideline that what we should do and what we should not do. But I think if we have an expert here. But I just request the the participants and the organizer, please allow me to leave. So
Sure.
yes.
We'll also wind up this session. Thank you, Pranav, and thank you, Dr. Aditi, for giving us a good start. And I am sure all the participants are also got some overview of digital media. We will share, with the consent of our resource person, their email ID. You can always reach out to them, write to them, and I'm sure they're generous enough to clarify all your doubts. Thank you all, and good night. Hope to see you all tomorrow for the second session. Thank you once again.
Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, ma'am.
Thank you so much.